obviously a ton of respect for USF, their coaches, their program. They're playing as good a football as just about anybody in the country. The way they beat two top 25 opponents, and again, playing at a high level, really explosive football team, disruptive, high energy, physical, tough, well disciplined. Great opportunity for our program. So, questions, please.
Mario, with you guys playing them last year, obviously for the first half, they gave you guys faith, they were right in with you. How much can and will you take from what you were able to play against them in person last year as you guys go through this?
You know, they were very different last year when they played against us. They're very multiple on defense. We saw a lot of man coverage that game, and you know, we were okay running the football, not great until the end, but we hit them on some pass plays. They've been really good in coverage the rest of the season and to start this season, and defensively they're top 2, top 5 in just about every category, relatively to, you know, the important parts of the game. So we can expect to see, I'm sure there's some residue, but Todd Orlando, who we know had a chance to work with before, is an excellent football coach. Again, big menu, so you got to prepare for a lot.
What stood out to you about USF's game against Florida?
Physicality, speed, guys running the football, 11 has to the ball all the time, good tackling, aggressive corners, guys that can play man coverage, but come up and force tackle, could play multiple coverages, pressure, disguise pressure, a handful of stuff that you have to really, really prepare for.
I know you look at just what's in front of you. I get that, obviously, and respect it, but the storyline for the next 3 weeks is going to be the same. It's an in-state team that you beat pretty badly last year. It's going to be the same story next week and then the game after that. When you saw the way the schedule sort of broke, did you start prepping what the messaging would be? Because you know what's being said in the other locker rooms for the next 3 weeks. You know this game's going to mean a lot more than it even ordinarily would, with it being a state rivalry game, just because of what happened last year.
I think anytime you step on the field, the game better mean more to you than it does to the other side, you know, regardless of what that logo looks like or whatnot. And that's always the best way to respect football. We're firm believers in that. For us, you know, you look at games past and that game in particular, the score there might have been separation in the second half, but that game was a lot closer, and that game is so far in the past in terms of personnel, schematically, what both sides are evolving into, what I've shown this year so far, that we don't, of course you always watch film because you want to feel for personnel and some tendencies or whatnot, but it's a very different game in 25, and so we're looking forward to the opportunity.
Mario, you mentioned JoJo after the game on Saturday, and then Hayden Lowe on the radio this morning. Just you said Hayden Lowe may be out for a little while, but do you anticipate JoJo, Armando Blunt, and Jordan Lyle being ready for Saturday?
Yeah, I expect JoJo, Lyle, and Blunt. Hayden Lowe will now be out for the season. His injury is a little bit more significant than what we thought, so you know, we'll come back strong and he'll be ready for spring football, but he will be out for the season.
Mario, the disappointment for Aiden, I know you guys were excited this spring we saw it, but just just disappointed for him.
Man, that guy's got an unbelievable future. Tremendous upside. He is physical. He is strong. He loves football. He's young. You know, he makes his mistakes like anybody else. But yeah, we were looking forward to playing him a bunch. And he got banged up a few weeks ago and really tried to come back, and it didn't work out. So finally, a decision was made that we gotta start getting him ready for spring football for the rest of his career.
What challenges Byron Brown pose?
You know, I think what doesn't get talked about enough is the fact that I think he leads the country in most consecutive passes without throwing an interception, and he could throw it all. I mean, the deep ball is phenomenal, deep ball by him. The quick game, the intermediate game, the off-script plays, hard to contain, hard to bring down. He combines the best of both worlds of the college, you know, modern day quarterback. So, and he's a big dude too. He sees the field really, really well. I don't think he ever gets phased. I thought he put an exclamation point on one of his plays against Boise when, he ran through and he came free on that one particular scramble, and he could have glided into the end zone, but he made it a point to go and put a hit on the defender. So he's a winner, and he's tough, and he's physical, smart. So great football player.
Mario, two guys on defense. Marquise Lightfoot, what have you seen from him these past couple games? Seems like whenever he is out there, you're seeing him generate pressure and whatnot. And then Keontae Scott, what he's been able to do in the nickel the first 2 games.
Yeah, Marquise is really coming on, really getting some valuable snaps. Very versatile, great pass rusher, playing well against the run. Great in coverage, does it all. I mean, he's a gifted athlete. He's should be over 230 now, 6'5" and a half. On his way to 6'6", and he's one of our fastest defenders. I mean, he times up there with the fastest linebackers, and he's only developing more and more and more. Big future for him, so he's been a big factor for us. Keontae Scott has been a tremendous addition at nickel, as you have seen, because he's done it in coverage, done it in the run game. That nickel position gets challenged, right? People start going formation, the sideline, and trying to get him into the box, the fit runs and everything. He's tough, he's physical, he's a good blitzer. He's a great cover guy, great man-to-man guy, understands the playbook top to bottom. He could fill in that corner, safety, you name it.
Like you said with Brown, it's 240 something passes since he's thrown a pick.
Yep.
Carson's close to 200 going back to last year without one. There's some pretty good DVs on their schedules, and these guys aren't throwing checkdowns.
No doubt.
To be able to go 50 passes without one getting jumped, I mean, just what's that say about the skill level, the accuracy, the arm strength, the belief in the receivers?
These guys aren't throwing bubble passes all day. Again, they're pushing the ball down the field, in the form of play action, the form of just drop back. Third down percentage is really high for both. And plays under pressure, completions under pressure are high for both as well. So again, that position, when it has experience and has talent and has a lot of want to, it's a dangerous combination, and both quarterbacks are really highly skilled, highly experienced, and they want to win. So it's going to be an awesome opportunity.
You've rotated Samson Okunlola in a good amount the last 2 games. So what do you like about him, his progression, and how valuable is it to have that, that 6th offensive line who can come in, spell a guy for, a couple drives and stuff like that?
Well, Samson's played great football, and I know everybody, it's well documented, he was such a highly touted guy, everyone wanted it to happen right away, but that's not the way football works. Football's a developmental sport, and sometimes it pops for guys a little bit later than others. And he's hitting on all strides right now. He's hitting on all cylinders right now. He's playing with a lot of power in the run game, a lot of balance and body control, great use of his hands in the passing game, position versatility, jumps out of tackle, and at guard, he could play 4 of the 5 positions. And Ryan Rodriguez is another guy that we consider another co-starter. Max Buchanan showed in the game what he can do. Tommy Kinsler showed what he can do. SJ showed, a lot of guys showed up in a big way. And again, Matthew McCoy's versatility showed up as well. So we feel like that position continues to develop at a high level. We want to continue to recruit at a high level because there'll be some departures at the end of the year, but certainly feel very, very strongly about the direction.
Mario, what do you like about Samson at guard? Just how he just looked every ball, so you touched on tackles.
You always wonder because he's so long, can he actually fit in there and generate power, right? The A gaps are really important as it relates to both keeping a clean pocket and then running the football. But Samson, you'd be hard pressed, and we have a lot of these guys now. You'd be hard pressed to find people like him that work as hard as he works. You'll find him in here at all hours. So he has worked himself, he has learned himself into being an excellent football player. At guard, which was very new for him, he's learned to play with his feet in the ground and to play with power, with bending his knees and a flat back, which is really important, right? And understanding that those man blocks and combinations, the timing is different than it is outside of tackle, both in the pass game and the run game. So I think the mother of all learning, the repetition, has taken its course, and he's had so many reps at all those that he's really developed into an excellent football player, and he's another one that's just getting started. So we look forward to more great play from him.
There are bigger goals, obviously, but back when you were a player, I think there was the Florida Cup. I think there was actually a physical trophy for the state title.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot more teams now than there was then and all that. But what do in-state games still mean?
They're as meaningful as you could imagine, right? To me, anytime you play in-state, those things, they're rivalry games, naturally. And they last for an entire year, right? So the fan bases, the alumni, they're all juiced up. The energy brought to the stadiums is awesome. The intensity on the field is felt. right away and through the game. And in rivalry games, you know how those go, man. You're never all the way in it, never all the way out of it, right? You've got to play all the way 4 quarters, 60 minutes until that clock says 0 and overtime if necessary. So certainly a lot of energy behind our program, momentum behind it. So we're looking forward to a great opportunity on Saturday.
Their offensive line, USF's, a lot of guys that started at the P4
Yes.
level. Do those body types show up when you watch them? Their
Absolutely.
physicality, was that a big part of their recent game here?
I thought their physicality was very evident in a couple instances. Number one, the way they finish blocks in the run game and the way they just move piles. You'll see a lot of stalemates sometimes, and you'll see 3, 4, 5 bodies come in there, sink their hips, and move the pile. You see them in the screen game getting downfield. All of them, tackles, guard, center, getting downfield, knocking people around. You don't see them standing around at all. They're always active, they're always moving. A lot of respect for them. They're gonna chase you. They're gonna chase you and they're gonna finish you. It looks like it's a really good O-line culture.
Mario, with Wesley, just your thoughts on the play itself. Do you have a conversation with him about the need that he's got to be on the field, obviously, especially with what's coming up moving forward? Do you have that with a guy like that?
You do. It's all teaching moments. I mean, you know, we really want to play a physical brand of football, and I don't think anyone can convince anyone that Wesley was trying to harm anybody or bring harm upon himself. It's just, it's ball. Bodies fly around. There's different angles, right? Sometimes the head goes down a little bit more than others, and helmets collide. And there was a day and a time where that used to be considered awesome football, and now you just have to be a little bit more technical and make sure the crown of the helmet isn't something that's used in a launching manner, because they're gonna tag you, and it stinks because he works his tail off, and that guy wants nothing more than to play great football on Saturday. So lesson learned, and we move on from there.
You got Bert some opportunities this week. He had a couple touchbacks as well. I think you're like 12 or 13 on touchbacks on kickoffs. Just one, how good is it to get Bert some work, and two, when you know that you can start a team at the 25, knowing that it's going to be a touchback.
Well, those two guys have been awesome. As competitors, both fighting for the job, and we feel good about either one of those guys being in the game. They've been extremely valuable in that department as any. I mean, kicking the ball 9 deep or out of the end zone most of the time. I think we've had one return on us, and we tackled it inside the 15-yard line. So they've, it's a great example of just trusting your eyes in recruiting and evaluation, because I don't know how highly touted they were or they weren't. I don't really follow that stuff, but I know that we trusted what we saw in film, and then have a chance to sit with them, see their processes, what they do, how they do it. We felt strongly that they could be, you know, really great players for us. And it's only 2 games in, you know, there's a lot to, but big kick game 1, and certainly some really impactful kicks in game 2.
Something that got talked a lot about in the week going into Bethune, and probably should be again this week. You've got a room full of wide receivers that all want the ball, but they're obviously very willing to block.
Mhm.
And you can tell them to do it, but kids have to want to do that. For that group to have that sort of buy-in, I don't want to ask if you're surprised, but just how fortunate is it that it appears to be very contagious in that room, that you're going to block or else.
Yeah, mandatory is contagious, you know. So it comes with it. I mean, you better do it. You better do it. It's got to be team first. And you know what they see too, that it's going to be demanded of them at the next level as well. And you're physical or you're not, you know. And if you're not, they're going to find you. Somebody's going to find you. They're going to expose you. And if you can't display a willingness to hit and take a hit and get right back up, it's just not going to work. So proud of the way that they've approached this in an unselfish manner. The ball has been spread around enough where everyone's touching it at some point in time or another. But it does start with really, really good leadership. And I think CJ Daniels has been excellent for that room. I mean, he's as fun and as professional as I've been around. Really has. So glad to see him get off to a good start. I know he's excited. He wants to keep getting better and help his teammates get better. And that's one way he's doing it.
Marcus Van Dyke was on your staff for a couple of years when you got here. I was coaching DBs at USF. Just what are your thoughts on him as a coach?
Mm-hmm. Did a nice job when he was here. You know, he was in an analyst role while he was here. He was a great player while he was here at the University of Miami. So tons of respect for him and his game.
And obviously, last week in the NFL, we had Jalen Carter, spinning towards whatever the situation was for the player, and then obviously that happened again in the U.S. at Florida game. Have you talked to the team about just not getting caught up in the moment, doing something that could hurt the team like that?
Every day, every single day of our lives, man. I mean, it's not like who knows the interaction, the verbal exchange in that moment and what led to that, but I'm sure it was enough to drive someone through the roof. Well, I mean, I don't judge it because I don't coach on any of the teams that were involved in that, but in terms of us, we've had our moments in the past that make you wanna, I'll stop there. And now I think we've seen probably a half a dozen examples where our guys have restrained themselves for the betterment of the team. You saw in game one how a receiver blocking his tail off gets his face mask yanked, pushed, one guy gets punched, and he backed off, or another guy got there to grab him for, hey, don't, your best form of retaliation is to go have success on the next play. And as long as we can keep doing that and put selfish penalties aside, because look, now every single game we play is a playoff game for everybody in college football. So if you are a hothead, if you are easily mentally manipulated, people are gonna find you, Heck, I tell all the time, the NFL scouts come out here to practice all the time. They look for guys that understand composure, right? And playing football the way it's supposed to be played. So there's a lot to be learned from that example. You just don't ever want to feel the consequences of it. You'd like to be able to learn that by, the misfortune of someone else.
Mario, you mentioned Todd Orlando. It's been a while.
I'm sorry.
Todd Orlando.
Yes.
It's been a while since you guys worked together, but how has he evolved through the years, and how similar or different is he today than he was when he worked for you?
Yeah, Todd is as good of a professional as you'll find out there, as a human being and as a coach. Just a high-level teacher, extremely intense, and he's got a big menu. He's done it a bunch of different ways. He's done it with odd fronts, 4 downs, bare fronts. He's played multiple coverages, disguising. He's brought heat. He's played base. I mean, his background is extensive, and he's had success everywhere he's been. It was always it's an honor working with him. Back at FIU, back in the day, he's an excellent coach, excellent human being.
Anything else, Crew?
Thank you guys. Appreciate you.